Good afternoon, I'm Abe.
And I'm Frank. And today, we're admiring the second half of Chapter 31, American Life in the Roaring Twenties, in Bailey, Kennedy, and Cohen's The American Pageant textbook. Abe, take it away.
Alright. In the wake of a small recession in 1921, the American economy took off like a rocket. Secretary of the Treasury Andrew Mellon created tax policies which encouraged heavy capital investment, which in turn propelled the stock market to new heights. In the wake of Ford's assembly line, the price of the automobile plummeted drastically. And by 1930, America owned more than 30 million cars. In order to convince the American people that they needed to buy more goods, the new industry of advertising arose and consumerism increased even more. Sports became a major industry as well, as heroes like slugger Babe Ruth and boxer Jack Dempsey garnered international recognition. Now, Frank, could you tell me how the car further expanded in America?
Absolutely. Though America didn't invent the car, it showed the world how to build it properly. Using scientific management, efficiency was maximized and costs were minimized. Ford's Model T is an excellent example. The car was in no way perfect, but it was affordable and reliable, the perfect automobile for the masses. The Ford Roadster was a mere $260, or only $3,500 in today's currency if we adjust for inflation, showing just how cheap the Ford cars were. Abe, what were the impacts of the advent of the automobile in America?
Well, the car shoved aside the train as the transportation titan, and the petroleum business experienced a boom. As more and more people bought cars, cities expanded and suburbs bloomed like never before. This in turn made cars into an item of necessity rather than luxury, increasing their purchase rates even more. Now, Frank, how did Americans begin to soar?
Well, Orville and Wilbur Wright made history on December 17, 1903, when their glorified kite flew for 12 seconds at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, the most important thing ever to happen in that state. Now, this kicked off the airplane age, and by the 20s, passenger airplanes were gaining popularity. Charles Lindbergh even flew across the Atlantic in one flight in 1927, a solemn signal that America could no longer rely on its Atlantic moat to remain removed from global affairs. I like listening to the radio. Tell me about the radio.
What a demand. Radio technology had been pioneered by Marconi in 1890, but it wasn't until the 1920s that radios became mainstream. Radios transmitted news across the country in a matter of seconds, and they were used to spread political messages as well as to help people relax, either through comedy routines or music stations. Radios also amplified the prominence of sports, since anyone could tune in to hear a blow-by-blow account of a baseball game or a boxing match. Now, Frank, oftentimes girls invite me to the movies with them. Could you tell me about the first modern movie?
Oh, I'm sure they do, Abe. I'm sure they do. The first modern movie was The Great Train Robbery, first in theaters in 1903. Following that, the movie industry released the first talkie movie, or a movie with words to match the action, The Jazz Singer, in 1927. Throughout World War I, movies had been used to instill hatred of the Germans, but now they were used by Americans as a form of amusement and relaxation. Abe, how did demographics change during the Roaring Twenties?
Well, for the first time in forever, more Americans were living in the cities than in the countryside, and young people were pushing for progressive legislation, such as equal rights for women and access to birth control. The new flapper style for women characterized the new age, as a flapper girl generally forewent conventional fashion in place of more comfortable and more revealing clothes. These young folks danced away the nights to jazz, the theme music of the Roaring Twenties. These tunes were especially prevalent in New York's Harlem district, where 100,000 blacks infused the African American style into flapper swagger. Harlem also gave rise to the political organization, the United Negro Improvement Association, which sought to aid blacks wishing to return to Africa. Now, Frank, Could you tell me how cultures were liberated in America?
Absolutely. As more conservative literary figures died or retired, younger ones surged forward to take their place. Famous examples include H.L. Mencken, a newspaperman known for his acerbic wit, Scott Fitzgerald, author of The Great Gatsby, Ernest Hemingway, author of The Sun Also Rises and chronicler of The Lost Generation, and Gertrude Stein, William Faulkner, Langston Hughes, and Robert Frost. Abe, one of my favorite movies is The Wolf of Wall Street, but can you tell me what Wall Street was like in the Roaring '20s?
Of course. Speculation exploded like never before during the 20s, and the stock market grew in value faster than ever before. Traders of all descriptions began to buy stocks on the margin, also known as taking out a loan and investing the money into the market. While this was risky, if the market did well, the profits would be enormous. Even the newly created Bureau of the Budget failed to fully monitor this business, and buying on credit expanded unchecked. This was in part due to Secretary of the Treasury Mellon, who sought to cut taxes for the rich and allow the engine of business to run itself. Mellon's hands-off policies would come to characterize the Roaring '20s age of extravagance. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll catch you guys next time.